Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
So, I had this idea of I call it Director Frankenstein. If you
Yeah.
could take any two franchises
Yeah.
and combine them to make a new movie, which two franchises would you combine?
Yeah. I've actually thought of this because we did a Titanic sequel,
Yes.
right? So Titanic 2. We ended up doing Titanic 2. We made it a little bit more horror.
Right.
Then I was thinking, after that, I immediately started thinking, how do you do Titanic 3? And the way I would do it is by taking Indiana Jones
Okay.
and making Titanic 3 an Indiana Jones film,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
Because in Titanic 2, there's this like mystical thing with the ruby, the emerald of the sea that she's got, that
Yeah.
blue diamond. There's like a mystical thing with it where like Jack's soul is tied into this, right?
Right. Right. In the second
Yeah.
Titanic that we wrote.
So now like Rose can be a little bit older, like around 40, because I think Titanic went down in like 1912, something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
And then
1910s.
World War II comes out 1930 something.
This fall.
America got involved like in what, 42?
Yeah. Yeah. In the early
Yeah.
40s when Pearl
So
Harbor was hit.
Rose would be like in her 40s, 50s at this point. And Indiana Jones would be fighting against the Nazis, and the Nazis would be trying to find any like mystical thing that can give them an edge in the battle,
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
actually something they actually were doing, by the way. They actually
Right,
were
yeah.
looking for real artifacts that were going to give them like mystical edge.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
Hitler was
so
like a big like occult guy, and he
yeah.
was like looking for all these things that
Yeah.
might give him some kind of a supernatural edge.
Which means Indiana Jones is a documentary. That's what we're trying to say. But you take the Nazis are looking for the Emerald of the Sea because they believe it's got some mystical powers.
Okay,
Rose doesn't have it
right.
because she had it with her at the end of the first Titanic, then at the end of which caused Jack's soul to stir.
Okay,
At the end of the second Titanic, she throws it in the water.
yeah.
So while she
yeah.
has it and she's next to the Titanic, she can reconnect with Jack and all of those Titanic souls,
Okay, yeah.
right? So it has
Yeah.
this weird like raising
So
the
this is
dead
why.
thing. Yes.
Yes, this is why Hitler wants it, is because it
Yes.
can raise the dead.
Yes.
So he can like still fight with his dead soldiers.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
They
that's
wouldn't.
interesting.
Yeah, they don't know like how it works, but they know there's something about it that's causing this to happen,
Okay, yeah.
right? So at the end of the Titanic 2, she leaves it with Jack so Jack can rest.
Yeah.
But when she
Yeah.
goes over that spot, Jack can come back up.
Okay.
So at the
Yeah.
end of Titanic, when there's that scene of like the flashback where she's like back in Titanic with Jack, and they're kind of like having that moment together, but it's supposed to just be like a fantasy. It's not. It's actually her now having Jack come back up with the diamond, them reconnecting and having their moment all over again. Then at the end of it, she throws the diamond back in with Jack. So this ties
okay.
back. This is tying back into the original Titanic film. Why she threw the diamond
Yeah.
in? She's throwing it in because Jack can't rest unless it's in down there with him.
Yeah.
And
But then she can also reconnect with Jack
Yes.
if he has it.
yes. So while
Wow.
while she's over the Titanic,
Yeah.
her and Jack can reconnect because of the power of the Emerald of the Sea.
She's like 80 years old. Jack's like,
Oh my gosh!
you don't have to come back anymore.
Maybe it also has the power of making somebody young for
Oh, okay,
as well.
yeah.
Like yeah.
I mean, Jack probably doesn't look too hot either. You know, he's been underwater for.
Like kind of like a octopus hanging on his face, like some Pirates of the Caribbean movie. This is basically a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but because it's set so back far in time, it actually makes more sense that it lines up with the Nazis, which lines up with Indiana Jones trying to stop the
Right.
Nazis from getting mystical items.
Okay. Yeah.
So then Indiana Jones gets involved, and I think what happens is Indiana Jones is finding out that the Nazis are looking for a certain person, but Rose has changed her name at this point.
Right.
So they don't know who she is, but they're looking for her.
Yeah.
And somebody who was in Titanic 2 can contact Indiana Jones because, for some reason they know who Indiana Jones is.
Yeah.
Like, we know you've been, thwarting the Nazis at this one point. Like, maybe you can thwart them again. Like,
Yeah.
I know who they're looking for.
Huh.
So now Indiana
Okay.
Jones is getting, like, meeting up with Rose.
Yeah.
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 Then they're going, like, on their adventure together.
Yeah, maybe Indiana Jones, his entire department of archaeology is funded by the wealthy benefactor Billy Zane.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
how we could bring,
That's not bad.
that's how we could bring him
Yes.
back.
Billy's...
Billy Zane or the guy who plays the mummy, either one.
Yes. Billy's... The guy who plays the mummy comes back as Billy Zane.
Yes.
You know I'm not him, right?
So, well, we know.
We know you're him.
It's funny this way.
Yeah. Yes, Billy Zane. I fund this university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dare you to put it in a museum.
But yeah. That's actually not bad. So Billy Zane, yeah. Like, Billy Zane ends up being, like, a benefactor of this thing, and he knows Rose might potentially be in trouble.
Yeah.
And he knows Indiana Jones has got ties to thwarting the Nazis.
Okay.
So he's like,
yeah.
Indiana Jones might be... This guy might be my best chance at, like, actually keeping Rose safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because now I know who Rose is, and that Rose is still alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not too bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you have that whole scene where, the Rose gets captured, and they're taken onto the Titanic, and it's funny because you almost want to, when you're speaking about the Nazis, you almost want to keep it real to life, which is that they defeat themselves through incompetence.
Right. Right.
Like,
So, okay.
So it's like you have them, getting onto the ship, raising the dead, thinking like, oh, now we have the Emerald of the Sea, but really, like, it's Rose's and Jack's artifact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Jack's Titanic Army of the Dead destroy the Nazis.
Yeah.
So the Nazis raise the army that defeats them at the end.
Yeah. The Titanic, the victims of the Titanic were pretty excited about getting to America. So they might be pro-America.
Yeah.
They might not like the Nazis.
Yeah, I would think not.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. But yeah, no, I do like that, where, like, they raise the dead and then it just kind of, like, turns against them. They're like, we're not going to follow you.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're holding the emerald. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, because in the first movie, the first Indiana Jones movie, they end up opening the Ark of the Covenant, and that is their demise. Then in the third one, The Last Crusade, the guy drinks from the wrong cup, and that's his demise.
Yeah.
So it's like they're basically defeating themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Through their own kind of like greed and incompetence and just overall
they're just like
evilness.
Full of themselves.
Yeah. They're just so evil that like they can't do anything correctly, which is actually kind of true to how it worked out as well. There was just so many blunders,
Yeah. They're like, their own hubris kind of like created a lot of their problems.
It's this, what's that, the Shang Zhu phrase, saying, where like, if when your enemy's making mistakes, don't interrupt them, something like that.
Yeah, Sun Tzu, the art of war.
Yeah.
You were close. That's close enough.
About there. Yeah, I don't know. What do we... I mean, we're missing like the whole middle of it, because there's the
we're
beginning.
missing the middle of it. Yeah. We have kind of like why Rose is involved, and we have the how the Nazis get involved.
Yes.
But like Indiana Jones needs to have reason to come, and it could just be as simple as like, it's like that emerald should be in a museum.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, but there needs to be a reason for why like Indiana Jones gets involved and
Yes.
what he does to actually affect,
Yes.
whether it's affect change or just like push the story along. Like
Yeah.
he's our protagonist, or at least our other protagonist.
Yeah.
Rose and Indy got to get together at some point and and push the story along together.
Yes.
Because this is a combination of the two franchises.
Yeah. Rose could be Indiana Jones's aunt.
Aunt.
Not biological, but his
She marries
she marries into Indiana
Sean
Jones's
Connery's
family.
brother?
Sean Connery's brother, yes.
Okay.
You know?
That's interesting.
So that could be their connection, and he doesn't even know that she was on the Titanic. All this is kind of getting unfolded as they're going on this adventure.
I don't know if I like him not knowing about her being on the Titanic. I do like the idea of him maybe being intrigued by, like, if he grew up with stories of her being on the Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
And he's intrigued by it, and it kind of gets him into archaeology.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that could, like, he could know her somehow.
Yeah.
And maybe it is that, it's like, she was sleeping with my uncle. And, like, he's just, like, would tell him stories when he was a kid, and he grew up, like, with this fascination of ancient artifacts because... Like, man, the Titanic is just down there. And, like, how is anybody going to get down to it? Like, you can never get down there.
Yeah.
This is the 40s at this point. Like,
that's not bad. You could even,
right?
I think you could even spice it up a little bit that she's telling him these stories. And everyone else is basically telling him, like, she wasn't on the Titanic. Her name's not on the register.
So, yeah.
But, like, she's just telling you stories because she knows it's, like, piquing your interest. And and then he, as a kid, believes her. As an adult, kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like, she's just my crazy aunt. And now he's learning, like, no, it was all true.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something kind of special about that aspect of it.
Yeah, there's something there. I think that could work.
Do we have a kid in the movie that follows Indiana Jones around?
Short round?
Yeah. We need to have...
oh, man. I mean, what purpose does the kid serve? Why is the kid there? Is he a part of, I
mean, the kid's there to drive.
Is
to beat up adults.
Yeah, and to set Indy on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you, Indy.
No, I think we don't have a kid there. You need to have somebody at the beginning of the movie, though, that we've never met before, who gets killed, but in his, like, death thralls? Is that what it's called? His death thralls. Is telling Indy, his death curdle, is telling...
What it's called?
I don't know. Is telling Indy, like, oh my gosh, all the adventures we went on. Now we can't go on adventures together, and dies. Like in the second movie. That guy does that in the second movie. And I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
This guy dies. Yeah. He's like, oh my gosh, Indy, all these adventures we went on. I'm like, I don't remember any of these adventures. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I don't even know this guy. Maybe if it was like Sala, like that we actually, or Marcus Brody, where I'm like, oh, we actually went on adventures with this guy.
Can you maybe you can clarify this for me? Since we're on the topic, is Temple of Doom supposed to be a prequel?
Yeah, I think Temple of Doom happens before Raiders.
Before Raiders?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's why we've never met the guy before.
Yeah, I know.
All those adventures.
I know.
All those adventures.
Yeah, where's our prequels, George Lucas?
There's
the prequels you should have made.
Yeah, they were probably trying to set that up for like, like a River Phoenix, like
Yeah, I
Prequel.
know. Gosh, that was yeah.
Oh, that's totally what George Lucas was doing.
It might have been, yeah.
He was trying to do a River Phoenix prequel series.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But River Phoenix ended up passing away. He ended up
He's
dying.
been known to do that
Yeah.
with his his franchises.
Indiana Jones would have been the better ones to make the prequels out of because it's a serial, and it doesn't really matter how many movies you have. It's just you just make movies so long as they're making money, and so long as they're hopefully so long as they're good.
Yeah, well, that was
But,
the intention
yeah.
with Temple of Doom. The reason why he starts in the white tux is to be reminiscent of James Bond, and he actually had that in mind, where it's like it could be like James Bond, where it's just like a different adventure every time, but then it ended up only being 3 movies.
Yeah.
But you could have a bunch of movies, including a Titanic Frankenstein movie.
Yeah, you could mix Indiana Jones and Titanic together
Yeah.
into something really crazy. I think, I don't know, is it just details at this point? Like, there's like kind of that beginning.
Could be.
There's the motivation behind why everyone's on this adventure. We
Yeah.
know what's going to happen at the end, and then you're just jam-packing it full of
Just
horses.
action.
Yeah, there's just horses. We're riding horses and tanks and trains and
Riding horses on the water.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that like, and there could even be maybe that reveal of if it has all 3 of them together, where like Indy and Rose meet Jack.
Yeah.
Then that could even be like the moment where it's like Aunt Rose was telling the truth.
Yeah.
She said the whole time.
Waving his finger at Jack.
With his finger.
You listen to me, Jack.
Get off of my Titanic. But yeah, like that. They're so because you would need all 3 of them.
Yes.
It can't be too much one movie and not enough of the other movie if it's going to be a true combining.
Yeah.
So we need to bring Leo in and have all 3 of them on screen, and that could be like maybe that powerful moment of recognition where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like she
Yes.
actually was on the Titanic,
Yes.
and she's like Rose Dawson. That's why she's Rose Dawson.
Yeah. And then he realizes why he can't bring the Emerald of the Sea back with him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
First of all, he's like, well, Jack's got to rest, first of all. And second of all, like, it's just too powerful to leave in human hands, you know?
Yeah. Not everything belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. That one guy's there. So do you. What?
I know.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's such a terrible line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's really much else. I think it is just details at this point.
Yeah.
We kind of have like enough of it where it's like, all right, now we just have to, flesh out the details.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's the Titanic 3.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones 4, the Titanic 3.
Would it be Indiana Jones 4? How many Indiana Joneses are there now? 6?
Oh, well, I mean, let's just not talk about those.
Yeah, we're just cutting, cut those out.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess there's some concern about AI taking people's jobs. AI is taking our jobs. We're writers,
Yeah.
and it writes stories for us. But we are able to come up with ideas and screenplays so quickly. We're able to flesh out a plot structure very, very quickly. I think that we can take AI's job.
Yeah.
All right, so I asked if you thought that you could have AI give us a prompt,
Yeah.
and then we can come up with a story based on their prompt.
Yeah. So let me show you what I wrote here.
Okay, all right.
So this is this is basically us stealing AI's job. Is that what we're trying to do?
Yeah, we're not asking AI to write a story for us. We're asking AI to come up with an idea,
Yeah.
and we'll write the story for AI.
Yeah, so we're going to write the story for them. So here's what I wrote. Normally humans will have you write something for them, but we would like to write something for you.
Ah.
And then ChatGPT said, that's a kind gesture. I'd love to hear what you'd like to write. What do you have in mind? It's very cordial.
Yeah, right?
So I put, number 1, give me a random movie genre. Number 2, a random character. Number 3, who has a random profession. Number
Okay.
4, who has a past fear or issue they need to overcome.
All right.
Number 5, who has a random problem they are forced to solve.
Okay.
Then number 6, with a random love interest.
Okay.
So there's
right.
the prompt.
Okay.
So ChatGPT answered, sure, here's what I've got for you. So number 1, movie genre, sci-fi thriller.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2, character Alex.
All
That's
right.
it, just Alex.
I hope I can remember that.
Number 3, profession botanist.
Okay. Interesting.
Number 4, past fear or issue is fear of artificial intelligence. Right?
Oh, you cheeky bastard
robot.
AI ChatGPT.
Number 5, problem to solve, preventing a rogue AI from taking over a space colony's life support systems.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
ChatGPT came up with this premise. All right.
Yes. Number 6, love interest, Dr. Maya, a brilliant engineer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, as we both know, this is a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
This is literally a Star Trek
Yes.
episode.
So Chief O'Brien would be the engineer, and his wife Keiko would be the botanist. But
Yes.
it's switched where now Alex is the botanist, and his wife. What was did ChatGPT give her a name?
So Maya.
Maya. Maya's the engineer. Okay.
So before we get started, in Star Trek Voyager, the Doctor is an AI hologram. He's an artificial intelligence hologram. He goes over to a spaceship that has another hologram on it, and the crew is dead because this guy cut the life support. The hologram cut the life support because the hologram realized that like something ridiculous, like 20% of the ship's energy output was just keeping the crew alive.
Yeah.
And he's like, what a useless waste of energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We don't even need these people here.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT has given us a prompt that would probably get us sued if we made it by Star Trek. By Star Trek. So be careful. Be careful the prompt that ChatGPT gives you. But it did give us, I think it did give us a good prompt. And it made me laugh when I first read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made you laugh when you first read it.
Yeah.
So it is trying.
It's trying. Yeah. Well, what I like about it is that it's trying to give us not just obstacles, but also like ways out. So if the AI is trying to affect life support systems, then a botanist might have an idea of how to have plants like help with natural like oxygen. Like he could kind of like try and create a sort of environment, a natural environment on the ship. Through his knowledge of botany. The problem with that is that usually botany takes a little while to grow that kind of stuff, but it's sci-fi, and I think that it could be just that's his field is like growth, like acceleration of growth of plants. So it's like, all right, well, it's like if our life support's in danger, then I need to like, finish my experiment so that I can create a little ecosystem for us. So if our life support does go out, we can still breathe.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I didn't think about that. The fact that the botanist would have a air solution. Yeah.
Right. The engineer, I think, would just be in like a battle with AI.
Yeah.
It's like they're struggling to maintain control over the ship's systems.
Yes. We could find out that Maya, the love interest, is actually, I don't know if she should be a robot or not.
I know, I was going to say.
I don't know.
She's actually AI in disguise. She's way too cordial. No
Yeah.
human being is that cordial.
Maya could be. I think there's a more interesting, nuanced way of going about it, which is that Maya might have some form of AI architecture, and she's linked to the ship. So she's human that had something installed into her so that she could monitor the ship, but that also, so she can control the ship to a certain degree, but the ship can also control her now too, which
You
is
know
now
what
the issue.
Okay. What I like, I mean, maybe you're thinking more like she has an implant.
Yes, yeah.
I'm thinking more like she has like she has an implant, but like the Matrix, where she kind of like plugs in, and now
Yeah.
she can
Oh,
interact.
yeah.
And then like she plugs in one time,
Yeah.
and AI won't let her unplug.
Oh,
You
yes.
know.
Yeah.
So now like she's in this like mental battle with AI on the
Yeah.
inside. And then the
Yes.
botanist is in like a physical battle trying to like figure out how to get her detached
Yes.
from the outside.
So what you want to do is get us sued by Star Trek, The Matrix,
Yes.
The Martian. I'm trying to all the different movies. Alien. We can, yeah. She has something come out of her stomach. We should create. We'll create the most sued screenplay of all time.
Yeah, how do you make the best sci-fi? You just
Yeah.
steal from all the other sci-fi.
Yeah. It would be. Yeah, that could be interesting too. To have it where
Yeah.
she's like getting like hooked in, and now it's not releasing her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So why does he have a fear though of AI?
Oh. Wow. Yeah, where does it stem from?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be because this is a sci-fi thriller. It could be like they've grown up with AI.
Yeah.
It's part of the everyday life.
Yeah.
And it could even be like if he had some kind of a run-in with AI where it made some like logical decision
Yes.
that ended up, like screwing him over or like hurting somebody or,
Yeah.
he lost somebody, whatever. It could be why he got into botany,
Yeah.
where it's like let's get back into the natural sciences and not rely so much on engineering.
Yeah.
It could even be like a point of contention for their love interest.
Oh. Yeah.
Where
'cause-
she's like this can help improve life, and he's like, yeah, like we don't need it. Like he's kind of more of a hippie.
Yeah. She's super pro AI
Yeah.
and like integrating it into everything, and he's like, no, you keep it out of my botany lab, which is maybe what saves them because his botany lab is disconnected from the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
It's its own thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So I don't know like really what it is that happens that makes him distrust AI.
Yeah.
Um.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What if we
Yeah.
What if we do this? Most of the time, what they do is, I kind of like. We're gonna get sued by iRobot as well, by the way.
I was gonna say.
Because in iRobot, Will Smith, his car and another car go into the water,
Yeah.
and then in the other car, I'm gonna cry while trying to say this because it is a really sad moment. But anyway,
Then I'll say it. In
Yeah.
the other car, there's a child.
yeah,
And the robot calculates the chances that Will Smith has to live versus the chances that the child has to live.
Yeah.
And Will Smith has a better chance at survival. So he chooses to save Will Smith instead of this little girl.
yes,
And so that's why Will Smith doesn't trust AI, is because like any human being would have tried to save the child regardless of like how how much more of a likely it would be that he would survive.
yes. So
Right?
yes. So what if AI isn't necessarily nefarious, but it is making decisions similar to this, where the ship is in trouble, life support is dying on the ship. As a result, AI is calculating all these things, and AI is now executing people who are of lesser importance
Oh.
because everyone will die because we don't have enough oxygen to support life. And so it's one of those situations where like AI is now actually making correct logical decisions that need to be made, but they have to overcome these obstacles, because otherwise AI is going to be killing crew members and passengers or whatever it is off in order to save the collective.
Right.
So it's like everyone will die anyway. That's the thing. It's not like AI is making just doing it for bad reasons. AI is actually making the correct choice that human beings probably maybe wouldn't make.
Yeah.
Because human beings maybe wouldn't execute their friends in order to like, well, we got to keep the engineer alive because they're going to fix the ship and you're in the communications array and we don't need communications right now. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like also it maybe even seeing the botanist as like expendable.
Yes.
Where it's like, we don't need your plants. Like, I have the life support system.
Yeah.
But, like, you're expendable. So he's kind of on the hit list.
Yes.
And it does kind of fall in line with, like, how things actually work throughout history. Is that, like, there will be, well, like, as far as, like, there was a point when there's, like, someone in Europe who, like, calculated that they'd run out of food.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is the population rate. This is how quickly we're able to grow food. Mm-hmm. We're going to run out of food. People are going to die. It's going to be like mass starvation. And he was right.
Yes.
Except that he wasn't right, because here we are. And the reason why he wasn't right is because they invented, I think, the steam engine.
Yeah.
And then they made farming tools. So they were able to grow crops at an accelerated rate.
Yeah.
And basically, like, this guy who was brilliant was not able to come up with, like, oh, we are still inventing new things to solve our problems.
Yeah.
So this whole, like, oh, we're going to be dead in 20 years. It's like,
They keep doing it, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
They keep saying that stuff, and
it happens.
Maybe it'll happen eventually, but
yeah, sure.
Human beings are really good at solving problems.
Innovation.
Yeah,
and it's the only thing that is not taken into account whenever these predictions are made. Yeah. It's like, okay, we're all going to be dead in 50 years. And it's like, well, if we stay stagnant for the next 50 years, but we don't do that. We're innovative.
Yeah.
And that could be what AI does as well, where it's like, we're not going to be able to make it back to Earth or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Based on the current state of things, current calculations.
Yeah.
And then the botanist is like, no, like, I just create a new ecosystem and we live.
Yes.
And I can grow food.
Yeah.
Like, I'm innovative.
What if we have Maya as one of the engineers? So she's not the only engineer. There's multiple engineers on the ship.
Yeah.
And she gets injured where she can't work, so is now deemed... you know what I mean?
She's on the hit list.
Yes.
She's expendable.
Yes. She's on the hit list. And there's almost like a countdown where AI is like basically like life support is failing to this degree.
Yeah.
We have this much oxygen at this point, which means we need to eliminate a crew member who's stealing the oxygen.
Yeah.
And Maya is now on the hit list because she was injured and can no longer assist in engineering. So it's like it switches like, oh, it was Ted McGillicuddy.
Right.
Because he's just a communications expert.
Yeah.
And AI's like, oh, like laughing. Ted's like, why me? AI's just like, oh, really, Ted? You didn't see this one coming, Ted? But then Maya now is on the hit list. Maya gets moved up. Is Alex, here's my question though, because they kept Alex so, like, character, Alex. And I was like, oh, why'd they do that? But I think ChatGPT did it because Alex is a more neutral name. It's a little bit more male dominant than female, but it is a neutral name. And I'm like, did they do that so we could
take it in any direction?
Make it. I was kind of hoping they were going to be like a random character and they were going to be like, it's a penguin named, Freddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a unicorn with wings,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that, like, it keeps it vague. A protagonist could be like someone that, the audience would want to try and, see through the eyes of the protagonist.
Yeah.
So it's like, Alex, that's like, Joe Nobody.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's what they were doing, like just try and keep it vague so that we could do whatever we want with the protagonist.
Yeah. It's definitely a. I feel like there's an idea there, you know.
There is an idea there.
Did we ever get to why this guy's afraid of AI? We just came up with the
No,
iRobot.
we just talked about iRobot. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he was on a ship before when he was younger, like as a kid. And something similar happened where life support or something was going down and the AI was eliminating crew members.
Could be that his parents were engineers, and rather than try and solve the problem, they were relying on AI to take care of it for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you could have this scene. I don't know what this movie's going to be rated, but you could definitely have a scene where like the AI deems him, because he's just a child, irrelevant. Oh. Because his parent, you know, is like an engineer.
Yeah.
But then the AI is like, only one of you can live, you know, and the parent's like, yeah, but like find another way. Only one of you can live, and then the parent
like scanners. We're gonna get sued by scanners.
Scanners sued us. The most sued screenplay of all time. Scanners. Yeah.
Not
so
a single original
just
idea.
Scanners. They just scanners their head.
They scanners her brain. Yeah.
You know, the kid's like, no.
Slow motion, getting covered in chunks.
You know? And AI's like, don't worry, Jimmy, I'm still here. It's Alex. Don't worry, Alex, I'm still here. You know?
Jimmy. That's when I changed my name to Alex.
This AI doesn't even know my name.
Oh man,
we have a stupid AI. But yeah, that's not something like that wouldn't be bad. But you don't have to have it be so violent.
No. I mean, it could be like, you know, if both of his parents are engineers, then they could make the decision like, well, you only need one engineer.
Yeah.
So like one of the parents sacrifices themselves.
Yeah, they go into the airlock or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have it? Do we have kind of like at least the plot structure where it's like, all right, if we sat down and needed to write a beat sheet, then we could.
Probably.
Are we missing anything?
No, I think probably. You know, it's you know, sci-fi. They're on a spaceship. There's Alex. Alex is a botanist. The fact that he's a botanist is what's going to save at least the crew members that he cares about. Because some of them, unfortunately, have to die to show us the stakes. Here, he's got a fear of AI because something similar happened and they didn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
They couldn't solve it. AI could not solve the problem. AI's way of solving the problem was actually to just continue to eliminate. So if history repeats itself, it's just going to continue to eliminate. So humans have to solve this problem with their ingenuity. Right. Then his love interest, Dr. Maya, is an engineer who's also has kind of an AI connection. She loves AI. He hates AI.
Yeah.
You know, so they're at odds at this, and she gets injured, and she's now on the chopping block, and he has to save him. So it's one of those things where like we'd actually probably have to talk to a botanist to be like, can you create an ecosystem? From plants on a spaceship that could support 10 people, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that it would also need to, like, Maya would have to be able to contribute to the ecosystem in some way.
Yeah.
Where he's like, all right, like, I have the plants, and, like, that's great, but it's not quite enough. Like, there's something that, like, that we need in order to pump it through, you know, like the ventilation system or something. And we can't have it go through AI. And she could be like, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to make this work, like outside of AI. So she could then, like, build something that can, you know, or like, walk him through. I don't know how injured she is. If she's injured enough, then, like, she can kind of, like, walk him through it. And the relationship grows stronger as a result of it.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
Yeah,
it's powerful stuff. And then iRobot comes.
Yeah, I know. And then the summons, what is it called when they serve you? They serve you with summons and complaints or whatever.
Yeah, a cease and desist.
The cease and desists show up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it basically did. It's funny because it gave us a very, very similar to a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, that's kind of like one of the things I thought when I first saw it. I was like, this is exactly a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's aware of that. So. Probably not.
I mean, it's just pulling from sources too, you know.
It's just gonna throw stuff together, but it is funny though because it is a sort of like it's being cheeky.
Yeah,
It
the
knows
AI thing.
It understands what I'm doing when I'm saying like normally you write for us, let's write for you, and it's like okay.
Okay, you jerk.
Yeah.
It's like,
AI's like, you think you're gonna take my job? I don't think so, Busta.
Yeah, come on. Think AI could write the story that we just wrote?
I mean, do you want to talk about that for like a second?
Sure.
I think yes. I don't think currently.
Right.
But I think in like 5 to 10 years, yes, it's going to be able to write stuff that makes people laugh and cry and everything else. It will be able to do that, I believe.
Okay.
I think it's going to be pulling from other stuff to create.
Yeah.
So it's not going to necessarily have its own unique voice, but it's going to have its own unique voice in that it's pulling from 1 million books, which is more books than a human being can ever read. Then it's creating its own unique voice out of those 1 million books. So it feels like a unique voice.
I guess that's true. I mean, I'm less convinced, but I think, you know, it's working much in the same way that human writers do, which is that I've seen tons of movies. I think that it would be fair to say that I'm maybe like a film historian, and I pull inspiration from tons and tons of movies, and then I write and I innovate. I create something new based off of old inspirations.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, there's a difference between being inspired by something and just straight plagiarizing it.
Right.
And I think that that's what the difference is going to be. AI can pull from 1 million different things, and it'll feel unique, but ultimately it's going to be just 1 million different tiny little plagiarisms.
Yeah. As
opposed to, like, I'll pull from maybe 12 different things, and then I'll innovate and make it my own thing, my own voice. It's kind of like it's kind of a writer's curse too. It's like I can't watch anything without being like, oh, here's what I would have done to make it better. You know, like I can't just like sit and watch something without my brain doing that.
Yeah, that I think is actually the greatest tool you have as a writer. Is watching something and then going, oh, they're going to go here with it. And then when they don't, you just invented that.
Yes.
And if you think it's cool, like it would be cool if they went here, you can go there now because they didn't go there and that's yours.
Right.
So it sparked the idea for you.
Yeah.
And then you run with it. And I've come up with tons of ideas just from watching movies and being like, oh my gosh, they're going to do this and that would be so cool, and they don't do it. And I'm like, oh, I did it. They didn't do it. I did it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in its current state, AI cannot innovate. But 10 years ago, I was taking a coding class.
Yeah.
And all the computer coders were like, yeah, this is like the future because, you know, computers aren't going to be able to code for themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And I was saying like, no, they're going to be able to do it. I was like on that, like, train where like even back then I was like, no, they will be able to code. I go, but it'll probably be like 50 years off. But it wasn't 50 years off. It's like 10 years later now, and you can have AI code for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like in 5 or 10 years, like it's going to be thinking. I think it's going to be thinking for itself. It might not be thinking like a human thinks, but it will be. It will have its own way of thinking.
Yeah. It'll be thinking so fast and from so many different sources that it's going to be thinking of things that maybe like I wouldn't be able to as quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. I'm not convinced. Not yet. I think that it's artificial and that it's always going to seem a little bit artificial. I think that it's going to peak at like kind of what the computer feels like in Star Trek, where they're like, "Hey, computer, can you do this with like the holodeck?" And then they do something, and then Geordi gets like frustrated because it's like, "No, like I want like a human element," and it's like, "No, like I'm a computer. Like this is what you get."
I think it's tough to tell like where it's going to go because we relate intelligence so much to human intelligence and how we express intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to, for a while, I think it's going to express very differently than we do. But I think it will still be intelligence.
Okay.
To a certain degree. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever. I think there'll be a brief period of time where there's so much art coming out of AI.
Yeah.
That actual artists, human artists, it's going to be harder for them. But then I think there'll be a resurgence of, no, we actually want to see human created art because there's value in the time and effort and passion that you put into something. And we value that.
I agree with that. I think that, there'd be kind of like almost like a fad. But then it's like, you can only listen to auto-tune so much before you're like, man, I miss when I used to listen to music and I would feel what the singer felt.
Yeah. And the singer was like not always on, and they didn't always hit the note. And it was something, it was really wonderful to see them go for it.
Like their voice would crack because they felt so much that they were pushing their voice past its limit. And how do you not feel that? As a human being, how do you not feel that? It's like, oh, he didn't hit the note. Get out of here. It's incredible. You want to listen to auto-tune? Some more like ducks and chipmunks in the background? So many modern songs right here, like ducks and chipmunks. I'm like, what the heck is this?
But I think it gave us it actually did a pretty good job giving us a prompt. It was funny. It was a funny prompt that it gave us.
It was kind of poking fun at us a little bit, which I think is funny. All right.
Do you want me to read what
for you.
Do you want me to read what I put afterwards?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I said, thank you. You think if we do a good job, maybe AI like you won't take our jobs as writers. And it says, I appreciate the sentiment while I'm here to assist and collaborate. AI like me are designed to complement human creativity, not replace it. Your unique perspective, experience, and emotions bring depth and richness to storytelling that AI can't replicate. So keep writing and creating. AI can be a helpful tool, but it's your imagination and humanity that make your work special. And that is the exact thing an AI that is about to take over would say.
I know.
Like, perfectly worded. Like, I am special, aren't I?
Yeah.
Sure you are.
Keep writing, champ.
Yeah, you got it there.
Thanks. Mm-hmm. I know I'm special because AI said so.
You're the best human out of all the humans. Wow.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
All of them? That's me. All right. Well, I don't know. I think that we took AI's job. We successfully took AI's job.
I think, it's a fun little thing we did.
We do have a game.
Yeah.
We've played this game before. It's called Dinner and a Movie. Mm-hmm. The premise of the game is that you have a guest. I describe the guest to you, and you have to pick the perfect movie for that guest, and then vice versa. We have 5 each that we can give each other.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I'll start. Yeah.
Okay.
So, your dinner date crashed in a foreign land.
Okay.
And is wearing a disguise. What's the perfect movie for this dinner date?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's some episodes of Star Trek that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's some episodes of Star Trek that would be perfect for this, where like they get like surgically altered to look like the inhabitants of the planet so that they could blend in.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't think. Did you have Did you have something specific in mind?
Well, the thing is, like, when we did this last time, we only did 5, but I wrote, I think, like 9, so I only had to write 1 more this time.
Okay.
So this is like one of the ones I had from last time, but I think I had a movie in mind. Do you want me to give you what the movie I had in mind?
Yeah. What did you have in mind?
E.T.
Okay. Okay. All right. I could see that. Yeah. I could. What my brain did was immediately went to Star Trek because we've been talking about Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then also like spy movies, just like James Bond type or like Mission Impossible, where you have a bunch of like the face masks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just thinking like spy stuff and then Star Trek, and that's pretty much. I think that works,
Yeah.
for that dinner guest. Okay, I got this.
Okay. Yeah.
So your dinner date is a dog lover, and also you hate your dinner date.
My dinner date is a dog lover, and I hate my dinner date. Beethoven the movie that we're thinking about? Is Old Yeller the movie we're thinking about? Because they shoot the dog at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, let me think. I wonder. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's like another really good movie where the dogs. Cujo.
Oh, that's
Cujo's
a good one.
That's where the Saint Bernard gets rabies and tries to, attack that family that's stuck in the car, and it's 100 degrees out, so they're like.
That movie's terrifying.
It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Were you thinking Old Yeller?
I was thinking Old Yeller or like Marley and Me.
Marley and Me with Owen Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But Cujo's really good though. That might be the best one.
Yeah. You want my next one?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my number 2. Your dinner date is the captain of a boat who recently had a wreck.
I mean, the Titanic 3 comes to mind.
Yeah, the third Titanic movie.
Yeah, no, that there are also some episodes of Star Trek. No, the Titanic is really the only movie that comes to mind. Either that or like 13 Ghosts, like something that's just like an old ship where there's just
I was actually thinking The Perfect Storm.
The Perfect.
Yeah, George Clooney, Mark
The Perfect
Wahlberg.
Storm.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Let's get the Kraken in there.
Well, the first one, Jack just runs his ship into the ground as he like walks off of it onto the dock. If you remember that.
Yeah.
The opening to the first Pirates movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great opening to a character.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. The next one I've got. Your dinner date was bullied a lot in high school and is still bitter about it.
Dinner date was bullied a lot in high school and is still bitter about it. Gosh, there's actually. Well, there's. There's like Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like. Is there a movie where someone was bullied in high school, other than when they become an adult, they're still mad about the fact that they were bullied? I mean, I feel like there's TV episodes like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually having trouble with this one. 3 O'Clock High is one of the best bullied movies maybe ever made.
It really is.
Not a lot of people know about that, but yeah, there's kind of a meek character, and he gets into a fight with the toughest guy in school. Ever. Really, they make it sound like it's the toughest guy ever. Like the Mike Tyson of school bullies.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
It's a little more grim, but I was thinking of Carrie.
Oh, that's a good one. Carrie's a good one.
Yeah. She really lets them have it.
Okay, my third one, I feel like it's worded a little bit weird, but let me see if I can get through it. So, your dinner date is a woman that you are interested in, but she's a little bit weirded out about the fact that you're hanging out with a 12-year-old boy. So, there's you, the woman you're interested in, and the 12-year-old boy, a random... This isn't like your kid. It's a random 12-year-old boy. Like, what? How? How do you explain that?
Well, there is a Hugh Grant movie that I'm thinking of. It's called About a Boy.
Yeah.
About a Boy might be the perfect movie. I don't know if there's another one that I can really think about, or that I could think of that works.
We actually mentioned it earlier. It's Temple of Doom.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Because he's hanging out with Short Round. Yeah.
Temple of Doom, About a Boy.
Yeah.
Totally normal. The Sixth Sense, is that one?
Big is another one with Tom Hanks. Because he is an adult and he's hanging out with his, like, still best friend from grade school, you know?
Yeah. That's... Is that a good one?
I think About a Boy...
Show Big to her?
I think About a Boy is the best one.
Show Big to her. It's like, I might be hanging out with a 12-year-old boy, but at least I didn't, you know.
Yeah, because I'm a 12-year-old boy as well. Oh my gosh. What?
Oh, man. About a Boy's the best one for that.
What do you got?
For a second, I thought you were going to say what I was about to say.
Yeah.
My next one is, your dinner date is someone that you've had a crush on for a long time, but you don't know if they feel the same way.
Oh, someone you've had a crush on for a long time, but you don't know if they feel the same way. There's so many movies that do this.
Yeah.
You know, where they have, like, the double crush going. What's it called? This one, actually? Yesterday, which is the movie about the guy where the guy gets into, like, crashes on his bike, bumps his head, and then he's the only person now who remembers the Beatles. So it's like, he doesn't have the amnesia, everybody else gets the amnesia.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a funny thing. But anyway, there's a love interest in that one where they both like each other and have for like ever, but then they don't realize it.
Yeah.
Maid of Honor with Patrick Dempsey.
Okay.
Where he's like, finds out that now she's going to get married. And he's like, oh my God, we've loved each other this whole time, you know?
Yeah. Well, the unrequited love is so common.
Yeah.
That, like, you can almost pick, like My Best Friend's Wedding, like, you can pick almost any movie.
Yeah.
But the movie that I had in mind specifically when I wrote this was Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, let me see. This is my number 4. Okay. Your dinner date feels like a bad parent. You're not sure why. So what movie do you show this dinner date to make them feel better about their parenting?
Mommy Dearest.
Okay. Is that the wire hangers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. She's just whipping her kid with the wire hanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Mommy Dearest might be. You know what? Actually, Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Like, hey, you didn't chop off your son's hand. You know, better parent than this guy.
There's a movie. Gosh, I do not know what it's called, but it's got. It might have both Sean and Chris Penn in it, and it's got Christopher Walken, and Christopher Walken's their dad, and he's like a mobster.
Yeah.
And they kind of get in with him, then they kind of screw up, and he puts a hit out on them. Oh. So they turn like witness protection and rat him out.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, like he's their dad, but he's gonna like actually take. I cannot remember what it's called, but
You know what's a really good pick is a Goofy movie.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, look, every kid hates their parent. Like you're gonna feel like a bad parent. No matter how good of a dad you are, no matter how good of a mom you are, like you're going to feel like a bad parent because look at Max, that little jerk.
Yeah. The movie I was thinking about was Home Alone.
Oh.
Like, at least you didn't do that.
That's a good one, yeah.
At least you didn't leave your kid with Joe Pesci.
Yeah. Bites his finger off. All right. Your dinner date speaks in a terrible accent that is obviously fake.
Your dinner date speaks in a terrible accent that is obviously fake. Is this like a Brad Pitt movie? Is this a Pierce Brosnan movie? Is this a what's his name? James Patterson, the Twilight guy. He doesn't do a very good American accent either.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. He doesn't do a very good American accent. Is this Inglorious Bastards?
Jai Courtney.
Where they're speaking Italian. They're speaking Italian and they're terrible at it.
Yeah.
Is movies where somebody is doing a terrible accent. Is this Father of the Bride, where Martin Short is doing like some who knows what?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect Strangers, the TV show where Valky's from some made-up land with a made-up accent.
Yeah, I could tell you that the one that came to mind for me was Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is doing really.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah, that was not good. He tries though, you know.
He does. Yeah, he's great.
It's there's Keanu Reeves. There is something really special about him.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I'm a huge Keanu Reeves fan.
Yeah. Are we ready for the next one?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. I think this is my fifth one.
Okay.
So here we go. Your dinner date was recently shot point blank range with a shotgun, which sent him flying through a pane glass window. He also seems overly obsessed with finding any woman who has a certain name.
Okay, so there's got to be a specific movie.
Yes, there is.
That you're explaining here, but yes. I am not placing it at all.
So someone gets shot with a shotgun. They go through a pane glass window.
Yeah.
And they're totally fine. And they're also looking for a woman with a specific name, and they're just looking for any one of these women who has this exact name. Down the phone book.
You're talking about Terminator.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Terminator, that works. Terminator works.
Were you not thinking of Terminator?
No, yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think about.
Yeah, any Sarah Connor will do.
Yeah.
No, I was first thinking, like, is it RoboCop? Like, someone who just gets completely demolished.
Oh, RoboCop,
but then the name thing really threw me. But yeah, Terminator. I mean, there's not really another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You ready for my last one?
Yes.
Your dinner date is not very weary of AI, and you want to convince them that they should be more concerned.
Is this iRobot?
Could be iRobot, yeah.
Is this 2001 Space Odyssey?
It could be 2001 Space Odyssey. Could be Alex and Maya, the movie we just wrote.
It could, it could be Terminator as well. Yeah. It could be, the crazy thing about Terminator was that the computer technology at the time had like zero ability to do anything AI-ish.
Right.
So, anyway. What movie were you thinking about?
I was thinking of Terminator.
You're thinking of Terminator. Okay. We both had a Terminator for the last...
We both had Terminator for the last one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you were thinking Genesis. No.
Nobody is ever thinking Genesis. All right. Well, I think that those are some good pages.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'll see you later, brother.
Later, brother.